Hello, my lovely Natsukis. It's your bestie Summer. At the very beginning of this, I just want to say sorry for any background noise. My family is home, and I'm not recording this at night for once, so there's gonna be a lot of background noise because I have 4 siblings and 2 dogs and a rat. So yeah, I'm sure some people have it like way worse, but yeah, and my brother is listening to country music right now. So if that ends up getting picked up in the recording, it's going to get really annoying to try and edit with that. But we're fine. We're chilling. It's going to be fine. But anyway, anyway, so I have so much school, but you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna do that later, and we're gonna do this now, because this is a coping mechanism. It's just really fun to record, and so I record instead of school, despite needing to do school. I'll do it after this, don't worry. But we're really close. Next chapter is going to be the middle of the fic, of what's posted for the fic. Because it's not finished. But it might be soon. I don't know when the next chapter is gonna come out, but when it does, I'll podfic it. But anyways, that's enough of my side tangent mumbo jumbo. Sorry, it's 10 in the morning. I usually wake up at 1 p.m. So yeah, that's how my life is. I'm lucky because I'm homeschooled. But yeah, so anyways, this is part 7, chapter 4 of Press Heart to Subscribe, a DPXDC podfic written by die_or Collagen6083 and read by Summer Audio. Enjoy! Danny felt like he was floating with how happy he was. Oh, wait, he was. Oops! Glancing around, it didn't seem like anyone had noticed. If they had, no one had given any indication. That was something that was nice about Gotham. If there was something weird going on that wasn't hurting anyone or anything, well, the populace tended to leave it alone. Danny sighed happily. He'd met Damian. He'd hugged Damian. Damian had been so warm. He'd been so strong, too. Danny was pretty sure he'd felt some impressive muscles under the layers of clothing Damian had been wearing. Or maybe that was just wishful thinking. It was probably just wishful thinking. He checked his phone. There were a couple messages from Jazz, which was to be expected. He had rather frantically raced out the door, which probably had been kind of stupid of him. Running off to meet a guy without really telling anyone all the details. He had done it in a public space, which was a sign that he had some common sense and self-preservation instincts. He responded to Jazz, waiting for the inevitable scolding he was about to get, and it did not take long. She calmed down after Danny told her that he realized it was a dumb thing to do. Preaching to the choir a bit there, Jazz. He knew it was dumb, but he'd done it anyway, and the risk had totally been worth the reward. Damian could feel his father watching him. He'd more than likely heard about how Damian had canceled all of his meetings for the day and left early, something that was incredibly out of character for Damian. He was certain that his father, Barbara, and some of the others had looked into his strange actions, which meant they had seen him at the museum with Danny. It would only be a matter of time before it would be brought up, but his father should prevent it from being discussed on patrol. Should. Damian had a sinking feeling his father would be more lenient with the rules tonight. Damian's fears were proving correct as soon as he put his comm in. "Hiya, Robin," Greetings, spoiler. I heard from a couple little birdies that you ditched today. You ditched a bunch of meetings to meet a boy. The comms are not used for gossip, Damian scolded, hoping father would intervene soon. The man did have his comms on and could clearly hear the conversation. Methinks little bro just doesn't want to talk about his crush. Wait, Robin met his crush? You met Danny? Last I knew, you had just found out his name. Nightwind chimed in. Dread filled Damian. Richard, he would pester Damian. He would not relent till he knew everything. He could already feel the headache coming on. That's what you get for spending half of your time in Bloodhaven. You miss out on all the hot gossip, Spoiler said smugly. When did this all happen? I feel like I haven't even been gone that long, Nightwing complained. Damian resisted the urge to take his comm off. He really did not want to hear all of this. Did you hop on late? That was like the first thing Spoiler said. It happened today, Red Robin queried. Enough chatter, Batman ordered. Then, with a small smile, added, You can discuss it after patrol. Damian resisted the urge to groan as his siblings cheered in his ear. After patrol, Damian quickly took out his comm before hurrying upstairs. He was breaking the no capes outside of the cave rule, but he did not care at the moment. He got a glimpse of Red Hood riding in on a motorcycle, Red Robin and Spoiler not far behind. He did not want to be around when the conversation at the beginning of patrol inevitably continued. Damian, wait! Don't run away! Richard called, already having showered and changed into sweats. Coward! Spoiler called after pulling off her helmet. He could face down a horde of ninjas, no problem. Any of Gotham's rogues without batting an eye. However, talking to his siblings about his crush on Danny, that had him rather terrified. Especially since Danny was an online streamer. Timothy knew, but he doubted his brother would mess with Danny unless Damian had annoyed him greatly. Brown, though, Brown would not hold back. Neither would Richard, in a completely different way. All he had to do was avoid and ignore his siblings as long as possible. To Damian's utter horror, his siblings decided to use their group chat to convene and share their information on Danny, including some YouTube compilations of him interacting and donating to Undead Nebula. Fuck. Ariel Ace. So, who's gonna tell me about what happened with Danny? Spoil sport. Damie went on a date with him. All-seeing eye. It was rather cute. I got some good stills from the security cameras. IMG. Ariel Ace. Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. Oh, he's so cute. They're so cute. Ariel Ace. Damie! Ariel Ace. Your boyfriend needs to come over for dinner sometime. Ariel Ace. Also, why didn't you tell us you had a boyfriend? Big Red Shooting Hood. I don't know, maybe because you'd annoy him? Big Red Shooting Hood. Or that we'd scare him off? Big Red Shooting Hood. Congrats on the first BF, kid. Big Red Shooting Hood. You finally did it. Ariel Ace. Jason! Ariel Ace. We're trying to be encouraging. Ariel Ace. This is his first love. Spoil sport. Spoil sport. Sure dick. Silent but not deadly. It is the boy he has shown the most interest in. Silent but not deadly. He has been smiling at his phone for months. All-seeing eye. Anyone know how Damie met Danny? All-seeing eye. Tim, didn't you try looking into who Damian was texting so much? Spoil sport. Wait, why didn't you? All-seeing eye. Dick asked me not to. Spoil sport. And you listened? All-seeing eye. Sometimes we make compromises with our partners. It's part of the whole communication thing that Dick and I are trying. More of you should try it. Big red shooting hood. Burn. Aerial ace. Thanks, sweetie. Heart, heart, heart. All-seeing eye. Of course, honey. Spoil sport. About to throw up emoji. Big red shooting hood. About to throw up emoji. Silent but not deadly. At spoil sport. What? It's cute. Spoil sport. Yeah, but like, not in front of your siblings. Spoil sport. And parent. Spoil sport. Keep forgetting that Bruce is in here somewhere. Aerial ace. At Tiny Tim. We need the deets on Danny. Aerial ace. Spill. Tiny Tim. I thought you didn't want me to look into him. Might ruin it for Damian. Tiny Tim. Also, I hate my name here. Tiny Tim. At all-seeing eye. Can't you let me change it? Aerial ace. Yeah, well, I changed my mind. All-seeing eye. I will after you spill the details. All-seeing eye. I will allow you to go back to your previous name. Big red shooting hood. What the hell did you do at Tiny Tim? Tiny Tim. I don't want to talk about it. Tiny Tim. Anyway. Tiny Tim. This is all due to you, my dear, at Spoil Sport. Spoil Sport. Wait, what? Tiny Tim. You showed Damian that viral video over a year ago of that guy defending Robin. Spoil Sport. Yeah, so? Spoil Sport. Oh. Spoil Sport. No. Tiny Tim. Oh, yes. Spoil Sport. No. Tiny Tim. Oh, yes. Big red shooting hood. Can you get on with it already? Big red shooting hood. Jeez. Tiny Tim. Fine. Tiny Tim. Our angry little bro decided to look up this streamer. Tiny Tim. Made himself a Twitch account as well as a Discord account and everything. Tiny Tim. And he's been watching all of Danny's, also known as Undead Nebula's, streams. Tiny Tim. Everything changed when Damian dropped a 5K donation for Danny to buy a cat. Tiny Tim. See this video. It's rather cute. Link. Tiny Tim. Watch at your leisure. Tiny Tim. This little incident starts the DMs between Damie and Danny. All about the cat, of course. Tiny Tim. At first, Tiny Tim. Damian kept participating, and then one day, out of the blue, Damian dropped a 10K donation. Tiny Tim. And since then, there's been an interesting sugar daddy/sugar baby relationship going on there. Tiny Tim. Here at some compilations of their interactions on stream and some of Damian's donations. Link, link, link. Tiny Tim. Oh, fun thing. Damian had no idea what a sugar daddy/sugar baby relationship was till a couple weeks ago. Tiny Tim. I had to tell him. Tiny Tim. I think that ranks the top 5 weirdest conversations I've ever had. Tiny Tim. Anyway, from what I could tell you, those two have been escalating for a while, with voice calls, videos, and sharing their names. Tiny Tim. And as we all know, Danny and Damian finally met at the Gotham Museum of Fine Arts today at the Monet exhibit. Tiny Tim. Then they went off to a cafe, had some drinks, and chatted for a couple of hours. Tiny Tim. Congrats at Aerial Ace for raising Damian to be a gentleman, because he walked Danny to his bus stop and they shared a very nice, very long hug before they parted ways. Image, 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 image. Tiny Tim. And yeah, that's it. You're all caught up now. Tiny Tim. I'm honestly surprised that none of you interrupted me. All-seeing eye. I didn't let them. Smirking emoji. Tiny Tim. Cool. Can I have my old username back? All-seeing eye. I guess. Rolling eyes emoji. Tiny Tim has been changed to Gunpla Nerd. Spoil Sport. I still feel like Tiny Tim is better. Spoil Sport. But OMG! Spoil Sport. I was an unintentional matchmaker? Ariel Ace. At Gunpla Nerd. Please tell me there's actually some sort of affection between them. Ariel Ace. And it's not just a sugaring relationship where Damian is head over heels. Gunpla Nerd. I mean, from what I can tell, they both like each other. Ariel Ace. At Gay Ghoul. Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. Ariel Ace. At Gay Ghoul. Exclamation point. Tell us more about Danny. Ariel Ace. When are you guys going on your next date? Ariel Ace. At Gay Ghoul? Question mark. Big Red Shooting Hood. Pretty sure he's trying to sleep. Big Red Shooting Hood. He ran out of the cave like a bat out of hell. Big Red Shooting Hood. Pun intended. Ariel Ace. Little wing. Teary-eyed emoji. Ariel Ace. You made a pun. Brucey. It's rather late. Why don't we continue that discussion in the morning? Ariel Ace. Fine. Ariel Ace. But Damie, if you're not there at breakfast, I'm going to hunt you down and make you talk. Heart emoji. Damian groaned. There was no way he was getting out of this. He got up and got dressed, taking care that not a hair was out of place. He needed to look confident and controlled. On his way to the dining room, he stopped and gave Titus a few pets. Titus was getting older, no longer having the energy he used to have. White fur was spotted among the black around the Great Dane's muzzle. Sighing, Damian stood up straight, his shoulders back, walking into the dining room as if he was unconcerned about the conversation that was about to take place. As expected, Father was sitting at the head of the table reading a newspaper. Richard and Jason were on either sides of him, with Timothy, Stephanie, and Cassandra there as well. He had hoped that not all of them would be there. It seemed he had underestimated how tantalizing information about his love life would be. "Baby Bat, the man who we've all been waiting for," Richard called, patting the open seat between himself and Stephanie. Reluctantly, he sat down, glancing at Timothy, who was sitting across from him, and Cassandra, who was across from Stephanie. His siblings all looked downright gleeful. He couldn't see his father's face well from behind the newspaper, but his intuition told him that his father was smiling as well. "So, Danny's pretty cute," Richard said with a grin. "He is rather attractive. However, you are mistaken. We are merely friends, nothing more," Damian responded, waiting patiently for Alfred to come by with his morning tea. If his pseudo grandfather had not insisted that Damian sit every morning and let himself be served, he would have gotten it himself. Pennyworth generally refused any help, insisting that he could take care of them and that it was his duty. "But you want him to be your boyfriend, right?" Stephanie asked, a teasing lilt to her tone, as she leaned to the side, nudging her shoulders into his arm. She was far too short to bump her shoulder into his. "Although I may hold romantic inclinations for Danny, there is a good chance he does not feel the same. Not only that, he is a civilian." Based on those screenshots Babs and Timmy sent, looks like he's pretty damn interested in you," Stephanie countered. "Say that he is. Do any of us have a good track record when it comes to dating a civilian?" Damian asked, looking around the table. They all know the answer. "Well, maybe you could be the first, Damie. Learn from all of our mistakes," Richard encouraged. "Yeah, but Bruce already has a hard time enough balancing the whole Brucey Wayne thing and Batman. Danny is pretty public. He streams often, Not only that, but how the hell would we spin the PR for this? Cold, calculating Damian Wayne falling for a Twitch streamer? Timothy asked. Geez, do you want the kid to get a boyfriend or not? Jason chimed in. Hey, I do. Plus, all of this stuff Damian and I have already talked about. I just want to bring it up again here. The press are going to eat Danny alive if we don't plan this carefully. Do any of us really want to risk the media calling Danny a sellout or saying that he spreads his legs for cash? No? Timothy changed, looking around the room, daring anyone to speak up and counter his argument. Drake's logic was flawless, as always. Thought not. If Damian is going to pursue a civilian, we need to make it as painless as possible for him. He's going to have to deal with the whole vigilante thing, too, although he won't be finding that out after dating Damian for a couple of years. The table was silent for a moment, processing Timothy's words. I hadn't considered that, thanks, Tim, Richard responded in a gloomy tone. We also haven't really asked the demon Brad if he even wants to date this kid. Sure, he can like him, but maybe Damian is too busy for a relationship or something. Or just doesn't want one at the moment, Jason pointed out. He does, Cassandra mentioned calmly. The rest of them looked at Damian for confirmation. He sighed. I do. I have not felt this deeply for another man before. The others I have gone out with merely lasted a date or two. They annoyed me. Danny does not. I find that I do not mind his presence. In fact, I rather enjoy it. He paused, glancing at the faces around the table. As annoying and embarrassing as this was, he could feel their care for him. They showed with both their words and actions that they loved him and wanted to be happy. Grayson looked like he was seconds away from crying. Do not cry, Richard, Damian said. I always wanted you to experience having a romantic relationship, and it seems like you finally have. I was so worried. It took you so long to open up and get comfortable with all of us. How long would it take you to open up to someone you like? And it's finally happening. You're growing up. He's a grown-up, Dick, Father said, speaking for the first time in this conversation. I am grown up, Damian replied, grumpily glaring at his eldest brother. I know, Richard muttered. Breakfast is ready, Pennyworth announced, a cart beside him filled with covered plates. Damian was reminded of his hunger upon seeing them. They were all ravenous the morning after patrol. Perfect timing, as always, Alfred, Father complimented. You flatter me, sir, the elder gentleman said warmly. With food on the table, everyone began eating, the conversation over. Orion is my favorite, Tucker stated, sitting cross-legged on the floor as Orion climbed on his legs for pets. He's everyone's favorite, Danny replied, sitting nearby, fidgeting with the pieces of tech that were spread out on the thinly hard wood. So, you got what I asked for? Wow, way to make this sound like a drug deal, Danny, Tucker deadpanned as he scratched under Orion's chin. But yeah, I do. It wasn't hard. Awesome, thanks. I just need to finish building this real quick. Then we can load the code and do some testing. I'm down for the testing part. Should be fun. Let me know when you're ready. Orion and I will just hang out here. He's such a friendly old man. He's not that old, Tuck. Orion's 6 years old? Yeah, they stopped being kittens around 2 years. He's such a needy baby. Yeah, the shelter said he came from a neglected home, so he acts like he's never been pet in his life, and he's never been fed. He's in danger of becoming a chonker, Danny responded absently, screwing in some tiny screws. A chonker. He purrs so easily, Tucker commented. We're trying to stop him from becoming a chonker. Jazz gives him extra treats sometimes. He squinted, biting his lip. Why, oh why, did they make screws this small? They kept slipping. Why don't you ask her to stop? Well, it seems like it mainly happens on the bad days at Arkham. She only has to intern there like 3 times a week, but it definitely takes its toll on her. She'll come home some days and be so sad. Jazz and Orion will just cuddle on the couch together for like half an hour to an hour, and she's feeling better. She gives Orion treats. I've been going back and forth. I don't want Orion to get overweight. He's my cat, and it's my job to make sure he's taken care of. I pay for all his food, his litter, his toys, cat beds, vet visits, etc., etc. Danny sat down, the screwdriver, staring off into space. Yet at the same time, I appreciate and love Orion so much for comforting Jazz in a way I can't on those bad days. She doesn't want to talk about what she sees at Arkham with me, partially because of HIPPA, and partially because she doesn't want to burden me with the horrors she's seen there. Snapping out of it, he turns the hardware over in his hand, looking for any missing screws or anything he'd forgotten. We won't be living together forever, and I don't know what we're going to do when that happens. Orion will be coming with me, but I'm pretty sure she should get a cat or two for company and emotional support, you know? Denny glanced at his friend, who was watching him pensively. Makes sense. You're such a good little dude, Tucker said to the cat. The purring intensifies as Tucker scratched the cat right under the chin, Orion's favorite spot. All right, done, Danny said, holding up the modified DVD player. It didn't look like much, but with the bootleg code Tucker had acquired, they should be able to play both PS3 and PS4 games on it after they plugged it into a computer. When he'd left, Danny had to leave all of his old consoles behind. With the funds he has now, he could have easily bought some old consoles, but where was the fun in that? Especially since he was trying to get into inventing/building. Was it technically mechanical or electrical engineering? Not important. Well, he could potentially build an emulator. He'd need software to load onto it to get it to run the video games. So he'd hit up Tucker, and they decided to attempt to make a PS3 and a PS4 emulator. PS3 emulators were notoriously difficult to make, so if all else fails, they'd make a PS4 one. Either way, Danny would soon have a way to play games and stream. It was a win-win all around. Sweet, pass it to me. I'll install the code. What games do you want to test with? Tucker asked, gesturing to the box he'd brought with an assortment of games. Not sure. You brought a lot of good classics. Sly Cooper, Jake and Daxter, Spyro, Ratchet and Clank. Ancients, is that Sonic in here? Danny asked, searching through the box. Hell yeah, it is. Sonic is great. I'm not saying it's not. I was just surprised to see it. We've got a bit before it all loads, and we can test it, Tucker stated, setting the modified tech down. 2 black wires connecting it to his phone. No PDA. Tucker had thankfully moved away from that outdated tech during the middle of their junior year in high school. Cool. Hey, Tuck. Yeah? Tucker responded. He didn't look up from his phone, continuing to do whatever it was that was necessary to load the programs into the emulators. So, I met Damian in person this week. Shut up. No way, dude. How did it go? Tucker asked excitedly, looking up, an excited grin on his face. He nudged Danny gently with his elbow. Danny smiled. It was really nice. Damian is super pretty. Handsome, just ancient. He could be a model. And the way he moves, it's so fluid and graceful. Where did you meet? We met at the Gotham Museum of Fine Arts and saw the Monet exhibit. He loves art just as much as I love space. It was fascinating. He knows so much about it. There's something really attractive about someone knowing so much about something, Danny said, a blush beginning to form on his face. Tucker smirked mischievously. So it was a date? Danny sputtered. No, we just met and had coffee and hot chocolate together. And he walked me to the bus stop and hugged me before I had to get on, Danny said, his face burning even more. It all sounds super sweet. I'm happy for you. When are you going to ask him out? Tucker asked with a mirthful glimmer in his eyes. Tucker, let me meet him a few more times before I ask him out, Danny scolded. So you do plan on asking him out? Yeah, Danny said shyly, running his fingers absently back and forth along the fake wood floor. I'm happy for you, dude. So, how's the whole hacker truce thing going? Danny asked, trying to change the subject. Tucker eyed him. The subject change was rather obvious. I know what you're doing, but it's going well, I guess. Now that we aren't trying to destroy each other, it's been kind of fun. We're still leaving readme notes for each other, but they're nice now. We're channeling our competitive urges in healthy, positive ways. Danny stared at Tucker in confusion, moving his hand in a circular fashion, indicating that his friend should elaborate. Unfortunately, Tucker had returned to looking at his phone and missed the gesture. What the hell does that mean? We're seeing who can hack assholes and shitty companies the fastest and not be detected. We both submitted a list of people who we think deserve to be hacked. Please tell me Vlad is on the list, Danny pleaded, his glee palpable. Oh, for sure, dude. I had him at the top of mine. We're not doing anything malicious, for now. He has some skills that I don't, which, if he could teach me, I would be super grateful. What skills does he have that you don't? Well, I can only do some basic web scraping. Never really had a need for it. You know? His skills are way better. Like, holy shit. And I think he knows how to use the facial recognition scanner that the government and some other shady agencies have. Why would you want to use the facial recognition scanner? Danny asked curiously. He couldn't think of any reason for Tucker to need to know how to use it. Well, to keep an eye on Danny, she's your clone. You're my brother, dude, so she's practically my little sister, especially since she has to crash at my place whenever she visits. I know it bothers you that we never really know where she goes when she leaves. It bothers me, and I think the rest of us too. I'm not trying to find her and force her to come here or anything. I just want to run a scan for her every month or so to make sure that she's alive and that she's okay, Tucker whispered sadly. Warmth and affection surged in Danny's chest. Ancients, he loved Tucker. He was Danny's oldest friend, his closest confidant, his brother in everything but blood. They'd never discussed their bond, so to hear Tucker acknowledge how close they were, that he considered Danny to be his brother, it warmed his heart and made him want to cry. Danny crawled over and hugged his best friend. Thank you, Danny whispered. Love you too, Tuck. Yeah, Tucker said, leaning into Danny's embrace. Love you too. They ignored the pop-up saying that the download was done. They would test the emulator in a minute. For now, they just wanted to hug it out. Undead Nebula. Hey. Undead Nebula. Would you want to meet up and hang out again? I had a really good time at the museum. Red_Ghoul. I would love to. I had a wonderful time as well. Red_Ghoul. I must admit, though, my schedule is quite busy. I have little free time. Undead Nebula. That's okay, dear. We can hang out based on your schedule. I have a lot more flexibility and free time. Red_Ghoul. I appreciate it. Red_Ghoul. We visited the museum last time, which was, would you like to go to the observatory? Undead Nebula. OMG. Undead Nebula. Yes. Undead Nebula. Honestly, part of me is surprised that I haven't been there yet. Undead Nebula. But it's up that big hill, and I don't think the buses really go up there. Red_Ghoul. As far as I'm aware, they do not. Undead Nebula. Damn. Undead Nebula. Well, I can bus close and then walk the rest of the way. Red_Ghoul. That concerns me. I can pick you up. Undead Nebula. As much as I appreciate the offer, honey. Undead Nebula. I think it would be really dumb of me to get in a car with you after having only met you once. Undead Nebula. No offense. Undead Nebula. I also realized this is kinda hypocritical of me since I raced across town to meet you at the museum. Undead Nebula. Without telling anyone all the deets. Undead Nebula. Don't worry, I have been properly scolded for that. Red_Ghoul. None taken. Although I'm concerned that you went to meet me without letting others know. I'm pleased you have been properly chastised. Red_Ghoul. How about we compromise? Red_Ghoul. I can pick you up from a very public place. You, of course, let multiple people know you are coming with me and where we are going. Red_Ghoul. It would be trivial for your friends to hack into the security at the observatory to ensure that you are all right. Red_Ghoul. After our trip, I can drop you off at the same public spot and you can make your way home. Red_Ghoul. I believe that should allow you to continue to conceal where you live. It should also prevent you from having to make the long trek from the bus stop to the observatory, and with your friend, you can ensure that you are safe. Undead Nebula. Damn. Undead Nebula. You think of everything, handsome. Undead Nebula. Yeah, I think that's a good compromise. Smiling emoji. Red_Ghoul. Wonderful. Red_Ghoul. I should have a free evening in around 4 days, should nothing urgent come up at the company. Would you like to go then? Undead Nebula. I'd love to. Hi everyone, how are you all today? Did you have a good day? I did. I'm rather excited for today. My friend and I have been hanging out and we made some emulators. They work, so today, since it's Some Friday, we're going to be playing Sly Cooper. I feel like it's kind of fitting since Gotham has a very prominent cat thief, Catwoman. Yes, Sly is a raccoon, but he's a thief. Now, I know this is an older game, but it's still a goodie. I also love Sly's friendship with Benty and Mirai. Do I have some complaints about the game? Yes, but we're still totally playing it. Why was today so good? Oh, well, thanks for asking, Nightwing is Cool 70. My IT friend is actually a pretty big fan of Nightwing, too. Their favorite is Oracle, but we debate on whether or not Oracle actually exists or not. Anyway, I made some plans to go visit the observatory with a friend. As you all know, I'm a massive fan of space, so it's gonna be a good time, Denny said with a grin. Oh, thanks for the follow and becoming a subscriber, Nightwing is Cool 70. I appreciate it. Anywho, Sly Cooper. Let's get started. It had been quite a while since Danny had played this game. Damn, older games were much less forgiving than modern ones. Hardly any checkpoints, dying after one hit, and one Carmelita Fox. Listen, he understood objectives that they had drawn/animated her as a very attractive fox. Thankfully, his mods were on it. It was Tuck and Jazz tonight. He'd forgotten about that back and forth between Sly and Carmelita. It nudged at his memory. Does this remind you guys of anything? Danny asked his chat. Oops, sorry, very open-ended question. I should be more specific, Danny said as he watched the chat be filled with confused questions and question marks. So, I'm putting on my little tinfoil hat here, but Catwoman has been around for a long time, especially in Gotham, but she's never been caught, at least not that I can remember. So it's either the case that she's a bomb-ass lady who's more capable than Batman, which could totally be the case, or, like Carmelita and Sly, there's this forbidden love thing on the opposite sides of the law. There's going to be, some sort of trope for that. Right? It's like a subgroup of the enemies to lovers trope. Right? Does anyone in chat know if there's a specific name for that trope? Danny asked, pausing the game, watching chat. Love across battle lines? I mean, sure, I guess. That's definitely fits for what the trope is. Wait, why shouldn't I look at AO3? There's RPF fanfiction of me? Oh, right. That's apparently a thing now. No, I'm not gonna read it. Listen, I have no problem with fanfiction. I read it myself. Wrote a couple dumb stories when I was a teenager. That's all about escapism. At least it is for me. There's also a lot more LGBTQIA plus representation in those stories than there are in mainstream media. Ugh, I hate using that term. I know it's kind of like a dog whistle for some. Anywho, read what you want, write what you want, just tag it appropriately, and be nice in the comments. Thanks for the donation, Nightwing is cool 70. What do I think of Robin? I know you're new here, but I do try to limit most hero conversation to my hero hour segments. Although I will answer your question, I just won't go super in depth. I think Robin's pretty cool. Let's get back to Sly Cooper and the Phoebus Raccoons. And that was part 7, chapter 4 of Press Heart to Subscribe, a DPXDC podfic written by die_olacollagen6083 and read by Summer Audio. I'm not gonna have a long outro, and I'm being a bit quieter right now just because it's super early in the morning right now because I had to go somewhere, so I had to record this super early in the morning now. It's 5 in the morning and I don't really want to wake my family up. So yeah, I have a D&D game going on today. It's our second one. Super fun, super crazy. We have them twice a month. But anyways, I can't wait for the next part because the next part is just so cute. At least I'm pretty sure if I'm remembering it correctly, the next part is super cute. Also, who can guess who Nightwing is Cool 70 is? Because I feel like it's pretty obvious, literally Slay. But that's gonna be everything just because I have to get ready for my D&D game now. So anyways, I hope you all enjoyed. Bye!